Bridges Under the Rainbow. As we reach closer to final end, it let your heart left aching with profound sadness. When everything left is forever gone. Nate and Mrs. Phillips sat motionless at the chair in the hall while Susie stood frozen at the glass window. Her chest tightening as the scene unfolded. Bethany, pale and fragile, lay surrounded by a flurry of doctors and nurses fighting desperately to keep her alive. In a corner of her eye, Susie saw Nate gripping the railing so hard, his knuckles had turned white, his whole body trembling with helplessness. She glanced at her watch, her shift was calling her back. Slowly, she turned to Nate and Mrs. Phillips, offering quiet words of comfort. "Look, Nate, Mrs. Phillips. I am sure they are doing everything they can to save her, don't worry," she whispered, though the heaviness in her voice betrayed how much she wished she could promise. "Be back soon," she whispered with anxious smile. As Susie turned to leave, she froze. Dave was standing at the corner, watching silently. "Oh, Dave," Susie's voice faltered, caught between surprise and guilt. Before they walked away, Susie paused, forcing a smile as she made the introduction. "Dave, this is Nate, and Mrs. Phillips. This is Dave." They exchanged a polite handshake, though the weight in the air was undeniable. As Susie and Dave walk away through the hall, she tried to ease the silence. "I didn't know you were dropping by." Dave's tone was gentle, but there was a trace of something deeper behind his eyes.
"Yeah, I just thought I'd stop in. I was calling you several times, but your phone just kept ringing."
"Oh, my phone? I kept it silent in my drawer." Susie smiled gently. The surgery room doors finally opened. A nurse stepped out, announcing that the baby had been delivered successfully. Relief rippled through Nate and Mrs. Phillips, though their joy was quickly tempered by the next words. But Bethany was still critical. Inside the neonatal unit, the tiny baby lay quietly in the incubator, her chest rising with steady breaths, so delicate yet strong. Nate and Mrs. Phillips pressed close to the glass, their eyes softening at the sight of the beautiful baby girl, Bethany's precious gift to the world. The steady rhythm of the heart monitor slowed into fragile beats, each weaker and weaker till at last. Tubes and wires surrounded Bethany's fragile frame as the medical team fought to keep her alive. Mrs. Phillips pressed her palms together, whispering desperate prayers. Nate stood frozen, his chest tightening with every flicker of the monitor. His silent tears are crushing him down deeply in his chest. The monitor gave a long, piercing tone, the sound that silenced the room. Mrs. Phillips gasped, covering her mouth as tears poured down. Nate gently wrapped his arms around Mrs. Phillips, letting her pour every pain she feels deep within. "Bethany is gone," she whispered, crying. Nate was frozen solid, deeply torn apart seeing Bethany's lifeless body. The room was still, heavy with loss. The gray sky seemed to mirror the heaviness of the day. A gentle drizzle fell over the cemetery as friends and loved ones gathered around Bethany's resting place. The priest's solemn voice carried softly with the breeze, words of farewell mingling with the sound of quiet sobs. Nate stood at the front, a bouquet of fresh white lilies trembling in his hand. Mrs. Phillips leaned close to him for strength, her eyes swollen from days of crying. Beside them, a small framed photo of Bethany rested against the gravestone, her bright smile frozen in time. Susie and Dave approached quietly, laying down their flowers. Susie's eyes lingered on the gravestone longer than she meant to, her heart aching at the sight of Nate's grief. She stole a glance at him but said nothing, letting the moment remain undisturbed. As the casket was lowered, Nate's voice broke the silence. He stepped forward, holding a red rose in his hand.
"Bethany, you left too soon. But your light will live on through Bellamy. I promise she will never feel alone. She will know love every single day, your love, through me."
He kissed the flower and placed gently atop the casket, his tears mixing with the rain. The mourners left flowers atop Bethany's casket and began to leave one by one, but Nate remained, standing still as though rooted to the earth. He whispered under his breath, so faint only the wind could hear.
"You will always be a part of me. Bitsy, always."
The end. Thank you for watching Bridges Under the Rainbow. But wait, there's something more.